Let's take a look at project life cycle, but let's also see the pre-project phase. Let's start from there. So here is the pre-project phase, and we'll keep it separate a little bit. Pre-project phase. Pre-project phase can also be called organizational or enterprise analysis. So pre-project phase is a small component of enterprise analysis or organizational analysis, right? A small phase, pre-project phase. Now, what is organizational or enterprise analysis? Sometimes also called strategic analysis. Organizational analysis or enterprise analysis is that time in an organization. It could be every quarter. It could be twice in a year, every 6 months. It is that time when organizations, they look within themselves. Maybe the better choice of word would be organizationals are doing some sort of introspection. And as part of their introspection, they look within themselves to understand what are the different business needs, or what are the different problems that we have that we need to address, and what are the different opportunities that exist in front of us. Together, problems and opportunities are called business need. If you were to look at Walmart right now, we'll take an example that everyone can relate to. Let's take an example into Walmart. At this time, if you were to look at the outcome of organizational analysis in Walmart, you'll see that Walmart right now is, well, we have a problem in our stores, and we need to upgrade them. Number one. Well, the second problem that we are facing is our online channel is not as effective as Amazon, and it is hindering our ability to sell our products, right? Number three, another problem, problem 3, problem 4, problem 5, and problem N. Numerous problems. So we'll not just say number 6 here, we'll just say and problem N. Numerous problems. Similarly, Walmart also sees various opportunities that they would like to exploit. They would like to exploit so that they stay ahead of the competition, right? The idea of being proactive. And for that, they have identified numerous opportunities. And the first opportunity, they could say they have an opportunity to use AI and understand our customer better. We want to leverage AI and become the first in the industry to integrate AI with our systems. We want to use AI to better interact with our customers. We want to make a better mobile channel so people can buy our products on the fly. We want to see if we can partner with other companies and bring them into Walmart. Partnerships. And again, numerous opportunities. But just like you and I and everyone out there, Walmart, in spite of the fact that it's a multi-billion-dollar organization, has always remained profitable even during COVID times. Walmart also faces constraints. Constraints such as time, because someone out there like Temu, Alibaba, Amazon, Target, Costco is competing with them. They have to bring their products in time or before time. They are limited by money. They don't have infinite supply of money. They do not have infinite supply of human or infrastructure resources. Neither do they have infinite supply of knowledgeable resources. So with all these constraints that are available, Walmart cannot go out there and execute or address all the problems, and neither can Walmart go and execute or exploit all the opportunities. So as part of this initial stage where Walmart is looking within itself every 6 months and it's studying itself, what they do is they look at these various problems and opportunities that they face. They look at the capabilities that they have. So hear this well. They look at the problems and opportunities that they face, and they look at the capabilities that they have. And using that, they build a strategic plan. All organizations, as part of their own study or analysis, their goal is to create a strategic plan. Strategic plan is a plan that clearly lists all the problems and opportunities, and not only all the problems and opportunities, strategic plan also talks about all the capabilities that exist, because these problems and opportunities need to be addressed within the capabilities that exist with Walmart. Now look. So if you look at the definition of strategy, the definition of strategy is effective use of organizational resources to meet the goals and objectives of an organization. We all talk about strategy, but no one has ever taken a deeper dive to understand what does strategy really mean. So strategy is an organization's ability to effectively use the resources. When we say resources, I always say this, we mean time. Resources, we mean money or financial resources. Resources, we mean human resources. Resources, we mean infrastructure, and resources, we mean knowledge and many other resources. So an organization, when they build their strategic plan, by studying themselves, when they study themselves, the outcome is a strategic plan. And that strategic plan is effective use of organizational resources to meet the goals and objectives. These are my needs and these are the resources. Because everyone on earth right now is constrained by resources. So what does the organizations do? They do something called prioritization. And they prioritize what problems and opportunities will be executed in near future, and what problems and opportunities will be pushed a little bit further into other fiscals. And as part of this building of strategic plan and prioritization, what emerges is a roadmap. And this roadmap is what the leadership looks at all the time. This roadmap is something like this. It says 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029. And problem 1, opportunity 7, opportunity 2, problem 2. In 2026, we'll take a look at problem 2, problem 3, problem 11, problem 12, opportunity, and so on. This is a roadmap is the outcome of this strategic planning, or so let's take a look at it here. So all organizations, they are going through something called enterprise analysis or organizational analysis. The idea of organizational analysis is to understand the business needs, and we all know what business needs are. They are problems or opportunities. Organizations, they make a list of all the problems they have and all the opportunities. All of us would love to solve all the problems and exploit all the opportunities, but it's not possible because we have constraints. A strategic plan is built. A strategic plan is built for these problems and opportunities, and capabilities within the organizations are also analyzed. And what emerges from there is the process of prioritization to understand from all the problems and opportunities that we face, what are the critical or most important opportunities and problems. And they are showcased or represented in a high-level roadmap, graphical representation. During this time for the near future, problems and opportunities, for example, 2025 and 2026, for these problems and opportunities, business cases are developed. So it's not just one business case. Numerous business cases are being developed. Business case 2, business case 3, business case 4, depending on what problems and opportunities require resources immediately, 2025, 2026, and 2027 maybe. And business cases are developed to justify each of these business needs. Justify. And when a business case gets approved, when any of the business case gets approved, is when a project for that specific business need is initiated. And this is what is there in your pre-project phase. On the left, what you see in white is all pre-project phase. It's very important to know from PMP exam standpoint, right? In the PMP exam, there could be a question on strategic plan. What is a strategic plan? Strategic plan is the study of the capabilities of organizations and looking into the needs of organization and seeing what are the needs that need to be addressed in the near future. And for that, organization creates business cases to justify those business needs. And when a business case is approved is when the project is started or initiated. Our PMP exam is a journey from initiating to closing of the project. Those 6 lessons, they represent initiating to closing. But PMI is interested in understanding your knowledge of pre-project phase. What happens in pre-project phase? What kind of documents are created? And what do these documents mean and contain? Right? So if you see all the pre-project work that's happening, there is no PM here. PM has no role here. It's leadership. Right? This pre-project part, this organizational analysis part, is something that is governed by the leadership, the steering committee, or the sponsoring organizations. They look into this part. And when they approve a certain business case, it is at this time a project is born or a project is started. One of the PMP exam question is, what happens when a business need has been justified? Your answer, project is started. Project is not authorized, project is started, right? So pre-project phase right here. Now, PMI loves this idea of business case. Right? They like this idea, and they like to ask you questions around, well, can you please tell us Can you please tell us what does a business case contain? What are the components of a business case? And at this part of this session today, we're going to take a look at it. Now, the project is initiated. During this time, the sponsoring organization has still not been liberated of its responsibility. When the project is started, the sponsoring organization has still not been liberated of its responsibility. And what the organization does is it creates a project charter. Again, PMI loves the idea of what does a charter contain, right? They like that idea. What does a business case contain? What does a project charter contain? But during these early stages, ideally, now look, ideally, we must also start identifying our stakeholders. Stakeholders are identified throughout the life cycle of a project. Never choose initiating. But the best practice is let's start identifying our stakeholders during initiating of the project. So you got this core document called Project Charter. On the PMP exam, you have about 5 questions from here. Then you have this other document, which is right here, business case. On the PMP exam, there are 2 to 3 questions from here. You need to be extremely thorough with business case. What does it contain? So we're going to talk about that. We will talk about our project charter. During initiating right here, the project managers will also start. During this time, after stakeholders are identified, project managers will kind of like put together a lesson learned document. Lesson learned document to document any lessons that the team is learning. So lesson learned document is a document that is updated throughout the life cycle of a project, started as early as possible. And during this time, the project managers may also have some sort of risk log in place. They may start these documents. Well, guys, we identify risks. Risks can also be identified at any point of time. Stakeholders can be identified throughout the life cycle. Lesson learned can be identified throughout the life cycle. Risks can be identified throughout the life cycle. Question on PMP exam. Never choose initiating, never choose planning, never choose executing. Throughout the life cycle for stakeholders, throughout the life cycle for lesson learned, and throughout the life cycle for risks. They can be identified anywhere, right? So right here, we got the pre-project phase. The project is started and project charter is developed. When project charter gets authorized, and approved, it means now that project can move into planning of a project. When a project, now look, when the business case is approved, project is born. When the project charter is approved, project moves into planning. Authorization means now you can go into planning of the project. We are allowing you to go into planning of the project. Authorization means another thing. Authorization means PM, now you are responsible. From here on, you are responsible. You have the authority now. We're giving you the authority. Go ahead and execute this project for us. Go ahead and execute this project. We are giving you the authority to expend organizational resources. So please draw a line. Business case is a pre-project document. Project manager have no say there. Project charter is a project document. However, it is not created by the project manager. It is created by the sponsoring organization. Once it is approved is when when the responsibility of execution and management of the project is moved to the project manager. And now the project manager will go and start doing the planning of the project with the team. The goal of planning is to create the project management plan. And folks, when project management plan gets approved, it is at this time the project goes into executing. So when does executing start? PMP exam question. Executing will start when the project management plan has been signed off. All these, these ideas that I'm presenting to you are on PMP exam. What is executing all about? Executing is about, you could say, executing the project management plan, or you could say is about creating the deliverable of the project by executing the project management plan. Right? So these ideas are extremely important from PMP exam standpoint. Now, I was just trying to put this together for all of us. And the reason I'm trying to put this together for all of us, the reason we are trying to put this together for everyone is, first, we want to visualize. And we want to visualize this, and we want to understand that pre-project is not a project phase. It is not a project phase. It's called pre-project, is organizational analysis. The idea of understanding needs, creating a strategic plan, prioritization of business needs, establishing a roadmap, writing business cases for the needs that are in near future. Their approval means the project is now born. Right? So separate the two things out. One of the famous questions on PMP exam is, does the project manager has authority to update the business case? No. So if the business case requires updates, what can the project manager do? Recommend to the leadership, recommend to the sponsoring organization. Can the project manager update the project charter? No. Can the project charter ever be updated? Not at all. Keep this in mind, not at all. Can a business case be updated? Yes. But can a project charter be updated? No. Let's not ask the question, why? Right? Because this is PMI's world. Otherwise, each organization has created their own mandate around how they want to execute the projects. Now with this understanding, now let's take a look at our topic C. Now it's going to make a lot of sense. Take a look at this. Topic C, lesson 2, which is starting the project. Lesson is starting the project. So what is topic C? Topic C is building shared understanding of the project. Building shared understanding of the project, right? Building shared understanding of the project. Now, building shared understanding of the project. Take a look at this. Pre-project. Business case is created. Business case gets approved. Project goes into initiating. Here, project charter is created. Plus, stakeholders are identified. Lesson learned and risk log is started. And when project charter is approved, approval of project charter means the project is authorized. What does that mean? It means the project can now go into planning. Planning is about creating the project plan. Project plan is approved, means the project can now go into executing. For visual sake, let's look at it here, just for the sake of the visual, right? Building shared understanding of the project. Building shared understanding of the project. Building shared understanding of the project. Now look, the project manager, let's say the project manager has joined the project somewhere here. PM joined the project here. This is classic PMI's way of presenting a question. Project manager has joined the project during project charter development, so PM may support it. They are not responsible or accountable for creating the charter, but PM may support it. PM has joined. PM has joined the organization when the charter is being developed. You know what the leadership told the PM? What did the sponsoring organization tell the PM? Sponsoring organization told the PM, hey, why don't you review the business case? And review the business case and please understand the need. PM has joined the project. Only business case is available to them. They reviewed it and they understood the strategic plan. They understood the need. They understood the vision and many other aspects, right? So here, as part of pre-project, you also have the vision, overarching vision of the organization. So now the PM, they reviewed the business case. By reviewing the business case, they know the vision. By reviewing the business case, they know the need. By reviewing the business case, they know the strategic alignment. Once they have understood all that, and if they have one or two team members, they can communicate the same. If you are in the early stages of a project right here in initiating, try to understand the principle here. You're in the early stages of a project, PMI question. You're in the early stages of a project. You've been given a business case to review the business case. You also have two other team members. What would you do? You will communicate the business need. You will communicate the vision. You will communicate the strategic alignment to the team members, so that everyone has consensus and common understanding on where we are heading to. Now let's say the PM joins the organization after the project charter is signed off somewhere here. Now what does the PM do? Maybe the PM is not going to look at the business case because they have a more recent project charter. Project charter is an extension of business case. Project charter in some ways is elaboration of business case. So now they have the project charter available, which is approved. What did the PM do? PM reviews the project charter to understand the same thing, the vision. PM reviews the project charter to understand the vision. PM reviews the project charter to understand the strategic alignment. PM reviews the business project charter to understand the project business need. and communicates and relays it to the team, or sometimes just pushes the project charter to the team with one goal, which is, guys, let's build shared understanding of the project. Let's sing this song of the project from the same hymn book, right? Let's read the same book, which is the project charter. Let's say some of the team members got added to the project here. What did the PM do? They got added during planning. So what did the PM do now? PM said, guys, I have reviewed the project charter. This is the business need. This is the strategic plan or alignment. This is the vision. Here you go. I'm giving you the project charter. Please review and strengthen this idea, consolidate, reinforce. And please also start taking a look at the project plan. It contains even more detail. It's an extension of project charter. Look, project charter is an extension of business case, and project management plan is a further extension of project charter. So now what did we learn here? To build a project charter, organizations, they will rely on business case. And to build the project management plan, organizations rely on the project charter. You see the idea here, right? So building shared understanding of the project is based on what stage you are in, right? Building shared understanding of the project is based on what stage you are in. What stage you are in. If you are in the early stages, you may read the business case and communicate the same to the team. Build shared understanding. So building shared understanding, what does that mean? Building shared understanding. What does that even mean? This means building shared understanding means communication. Communication of vision, strategic alignment, need, and if there are some goals, maybe some goals. Communicate these aspects to the team. And this building shared understanding of project is about communication. Building shared understanding of the project is also about sharing information. And that information could be based on vision statement. This information, sharing information, you could give the team the vision statement and say, guys, here you go, vision statement. This could be based on sharing information in the business case, if it in the very early stages. But if you have gone further at the stage where project charter has been developed, this sharing information or building a shared understanding could be about sharing information in the project charter. This could be about sharing the plan. Sometimes building shared understanding could be about having kickoff meetings. And on agile-based projects, this building shared understanding of the project, building shared understanding of the project. This idea in XP, extreme programming methodology, is accomplished by creating metaphors, the similes, right? The complex reality presented in simplified form, right? Complex term presented a metaphor, simplified form. You are working on a complex cybersecurity project, and you said we are building the Great Wall of China. To communicate this idea, you're working on building AI model, and you said we are working on developing alternative human conscious, right? Or you said we are working on developing, use some similes to express that, because not all business owners understand technology. So extreme programming is an agile approach, which is used for IT, information technology development. So using metaphors, PMP exam question, metaphor has been popularized by which approach, and what does it do? Metaphors are about building shared understanding of the project, XP, right? Kickoff meetings are generally agile-based terms. And look, a kickoff meeting can happen here, kickoff in the early stages of the project initiating. Kickoff meeting can happen during planning. Kickoff meeting can happen at the end of planning. And kickoff meeting could also happen in the beginning of executing. So there is not one kickoff meeting that takes place nowadays on the project. In the initial PMP exams, they said there is only one kickoff meeting. It has never been true. It was wrong information. But in last 10 years, PMI has started, communicating the right thing by saying project managers can conduct kickoff meetings at numerous stages. As the team size continues to increase, and it is okay to continue to have kickoff meetings till the very early stages of executing. The idea is consensus forming. The idea is building common understanding, right? Why do we have kickoff meetings? Consensus, common understanding. Communication of need, consensus, common understanding. This idea of building shared understanding of the project is about consensus and common understanding. Everyone is singing from the same hymn book, right? That's the idea. So when you are looking at topic C, folks, when you are looking at topic C, this is what you are looking at. If you go and take a look at that topic C, this is what you will find. You won't find anything outside what's being presented here in blue. Is that true? Building shared understanding is about communicating vision, strategic alignment, needs, and goals. Building shared understanding can be done by sharing information using vision documents, business cases, project charter, sharing the project plan, or kickoff meetings. Building shared understanding of the project is done on agile-based projects, especially XP, using metaphor. Fair? Is that what you saw in topic C? Did you see anything outside? But you got to see it. I beginning, folks, it's all about visualization, right? Now you can also start thinking, well, when I'm in the early stages of a project right here, can maybe look at the business case and the project charter. I don't have a project plan and I don't have any other document right now. But if the project charter has been approved and I'm here, I don't maybe necessarily need to look at business case. I need to look at the project charter, review the project charter and communicate it to my team, and also share this charter, send this charter to my team so that they can consolidate what I said. But when the team is here and you are here, during that time, the most appropriate document during this time right here, the most appropriate document will be use the charter and the plan. Don't use the business case. It's a stale or old document. Why create redundant information and inaccurate and irrelevant information? Because business case could have been created 5 to 8 to 10 years ago sometimes, right? Irrelevant information, not relevant right now. So the idea of building shared understanding of the project should be done in a progressive fashion based on the information that is available to you. And the best way to build shared understanding every now and then is to have a kickoff meeting. It's not 1, 2, or 3. It wholly and completely depends on the nature of organization and the kind of project you are working on. Facilitate as many as you need, right? But don't do too many, because too many can lead to decision paralysis. The idea of this topic, building shared understanding, is that all and everyone must know the North Star statement, right? Another thing, building shared understanding of the project is done by creating something called the North Star statement. Right here, somewhere we can put that too. The North Star statement, which is like a vision statement, right? Now I said, well, guys, I said business case, project charter is extension of business case, and project management plan is extension of the project charter. So let's kind of like validate this information a little bit. To validate this information, we'll have to understand. To validate this information, we will have to understand one core idea. And that core idea is, what do these documents contain and why do they contain that information? It's very important, right? What do these documents contain and why do they contain this information? So let's validate this. Just see how big this is. Okay, we want to extend it so everyone can see it the way it is intended. Okay. You know, today I think it's a good day because next week when we go in our planning session, this is the perfect time to introduce you to one of the core principles of project management. I'm going to come back to questions a little bit later, maybe around 8:45, 8:50. I'm going to take some questions. So plus keep your hand raised, and I want to come back to your question. Write down your questions so that you don't forget your questions. So, in project management, there are foundational areas. And all the literature in project management revolves around these foundational areas. All the literature in project management revolves around these principles or foundational areas. We can also call them the building blocks of project management. Building blocks. So all the literature in project management that you see is based on this. And your ability to pass the PMP exam with ease also depends on your understanding of these foundational area, and the understanding of these foundational areas, right? This literature, it is like the story of project management. It's like the story of project management. Story of project management. So what is the story of project management? Story of project management goes like this. All projects, we've been saying this in all our classes. Starting point of any project is understanding the needs of stakeholders, right? Even before we understand the needs of stakeholders, set the boundaries. Set the boundary of your work. For example, the boundary of work when you're building a house could be, we are building a 3,000 square feet home. Now, when the stakeholder came and said, we want to pave the road outside, you said, no, that's not our requirement. We are building the house. It's a 3,000 square feet home. Project managers who do not understand the boundary of work, you know what they do? They take all the needs of stakeholders and dump them in your project. And later on to realize that some of the needs are not relevant for them. So the first and foremost step in story of project management is, understand the scope. Or in other words, the boundary. Understand the scope or the boundary. Scope is also called the work that needs to be done. It's also called the work that needs to be done. Scope could have two components. What will be included and what will be excluded. Very important. The story of project management starts with understanding the scope, the boundary of work. For example, we want to build a 3,000 square feet home. Now, number two, requirements. Requirements must emerge from the scope. Sometimes people mistake scope to requirements. Scope is the boundary of work. We want to build a 3,000 square feet home. That is the scope. Now hear this well. Scope is we want to build a 3,000 square feet home. Requirements are the house will have 5 bedrooms and 6 washrooms. The house will have a kitchen which will be 25 feet by 15 feet. The house will have an open concept living room. The house will have a basement fully furnished. The house will have a backyard with a swimming pool. Requirements of stakeholders, right? For example, we want to build a cup. Scope. In the first phase, handle. Oh, the cup vanished. Look at this. Magic. Oh, okay. In the first phase, there will be no handle. It will just be this. Now, requirements, scope, we want to build the cup. Requirements, the cup will be this size. The cup will have some letters written on it. The cup will be beige in color. The cup will have a depth of this. The cup will be able to store that much liquid. The cup can be heated to that level. Cup is microwavable. Oh, stuff, right? Scope, we want to build a cup. Requirements. So now when the stakeholder said, guys, can we make a glass? You said, no, this project is not about the glass. Guys, can we make this cup using steel? No, this cup is from ceramic. So there you go, right? Understanding scope helps you push back on stakeholders. It helps you push back on stakeholders. So you understood that. So story of project management. Understand the scope, not only what the work will be done, what will be done, but also what will not be done, inclusions and exclusions. From the scope, derive your requirements from scope, right? Anytime a stakeholder gives you a requirement, map it to the scope. If it doesn't map to the scope, push back on your stakeholders. Once you know the scope and the requirements, now it's time to understand how long would it take? How long would it take? So if someone said, can you tell me how long would a project take? Your question, do you have the requirements and do you have the scope defined? If not, let's do that first. PMP exam questions are like that. Well, the stakeholder came to you and they want to know how long would it take. Your question, do we have the requirements and scope established? If not, let me help you out with that. Once you know the scope, the requirements, and the time, now it's time to understand who will do the work. Now, this who will do the work would be the human resources, plus the physical resources. These could be internal to the organization. And this who will do the work could also be external resources, such as procurement. And the procurement could also be for human plus physical resources. If the resources are not available within, we got to figure that out. So procurement. Once we know, look, the story. Let's understand the scope, the boundary of work. Once we know the boundary of work, let's understand what are our stakeholders' requirements. Once we know the requirement, now we will estimate the time. Once we know the time, now we'll know who will do the work, internal as well as external. And now this is the right time to understand how much would it cost, or the budget required. But don't just stop here. Don't just stop here. Ask the client, what level of quality do they want? Quality is nothing but conformance to the requirements. What level of quality do they want? If they want higher level of quality, then you provide, the cost of the project will increase. Look at the quality impacts the cost. Now look, I'll give you a classic example of quality. It's very important to know this. Before we dive into next week, this is very important to know. Any confusions around quality, I'm not going to use the word eliminate. I'm going to use the word addressed. Should be addressed. Now look, party at banquet in a banquet hall. There were 100 people that came, and it was $50 per person. The party cost me $50 per person. Now, Jay came to me and Jay said, Hemant, you had a party. I'm planning to have a similar party. I said, yeah, I had a great party there in that banquet hall. Go to them and they will help you out. Jay went there and Jay said, well, guys, one of my colleagues came and they had a party for 50 people, 100 people at $50 an hour. I was looking to do the same thing. They said, great. Now Jay said, but in the main course, you served Hemant chicken. Chicken, I heard the chicken was really great, but I would like you to serve filet mignon and king prawns. The banquet hall owner said, well, hold on. Hemant's menu meets our minimum quality standard. That's what we provide for $50. But if you want filet mignon, that cut of the meat is $15 more, right? $15 more. Sometimes you will go to your friends' houses and you look at the kitchen and say, wow. You'd say, yeah, this is custom built, $675 per square feet. And Matme is building homes for $175 to $275 per, right? When you go and buy a house, you say, it's pretty cool, $575,000 for the house. But the day you get possession, by the time you have already upgraded your counters to something, to granite or quartz, you have already done so many other things. The price of the builder didn't say, you came to me and everything is free. Did they say that? No. The moment you surpass the minimum quality benchmark, what happened to the cost of the project? It started escalating, started going up. Similarly, Netflix. Try giving your Netflix account to your friend. It will zap it right there nowadays. It will say, oh, are you willing to buy one more for your friend or whatever it is? Like you immediately get the message pop up. Right there, right? So there is a certain level of quality. Netflix provide you quality, a certain level of streaming at $7.99. But if you want more accounts, you got to pay now, right? So minimum standard. And then if you breathe, so Jay had to pay another $25, $30 and they had a great party there. So quality is minimum quality standard. The project cost doesn't change. Now, two things that I want you to hear well. So anytime you surpass the minimum benchmark provided by the project team, client will pay. Client will pay. Who pays for quality? Client pays for quality. Who pays for quality? client pays for quality. Keep that in mind. PMP exam question. So I think all of us know what quality is today, right? All of us know this benchmark of quality and why quality comes after all the 4 or 5 ideas, because sometimes it may not impact your project and sometimes it will impact your project cost. Now, quality, now it's time to also look at communication. You have a geographically dispersed team and you have to use certain technology to communicate. That technology is going to cost you another $7,000. Project cost has increased, right? Because you are working with a geographically dispersed team, distributed team, and you had to spend some money on some level of technology to remain effective on the project. So communication can lead to increase in project cost sometimes. Sometimes it may not lead to any increase in project cost. Similarly, project teams also look at risks. They look at risks. They'll say, well, are there any risks that we see in this whole journey from scope to communication? Are there any risks emerging from scope? Are there any risks emerging from requirements? Are there any risks emerging from budget? Are there any risks emerging from resources? Are there any risks emerging from procurement? Are there any risks emerging from quality communication? Let's make a list of those. And anytime there is a risk, there is a response that's developed. And it also costs you money. Risk means response, right? Risk means response. So the cost of the project may go up. So there are these 9 core foundational areas of project management. And I said all the literature in your PMP exam is based on, the test of the exam is this right here in front of you. Exam revolves around these ideas. Now, a project manager is someone who integrates all these ideas. Number 10, integrate everything. Don't look at these ideas as separate ideas: scope, requirements, time, resources, external resources or procurement, cost or budget, quality, communication, and risk. Don't see them as disparate, separate silos. See them as cohesive whole, one unified, right? Do the unification, see them as one unified big picture. And project managers who are able to integrate everything together are the project managers who execute projects slightly better or way better than project who see these ideas, or sometimes don't even see these ideas. They don't even see these ideas. They're just doing the projects based on peer knowledge or other things or other practices that they may know about. Good project managers must know this story of project management, and not just the story, the idea that I need to integrate all these ideas, right? So here we go. The 10 areas of project management, starting from scope to risks, and the 10th area is integrate everything as one cohesive whole. All the literature in project management is based on these areas. Now let's see how. I said, right? We said, well, you've learned in our last session as part of topic C, which was building shared understanding. We learned about a business case. Now, this is the time to look at what does a business case contains. We learned about the project charter. Sorry, let's just clean this up a little bit and use our real estate a little bit better. Business case. We learned about the project charter and the project plan. Now you may wonder, what does a business case contain? What does a project charter contain? And what does a project management plan contain? They all contain the same information, folks. They all contain the same information. And what is that same information? Look at this interesting part here. Business case must contain it must contain the purpose, objective, and background. Any document that you may write, whether you write it in project management or any other industry doing whatever you're doing, even as a student, when you wrote an essay as a submission to a university, you said purpose, objective, background. We started like that. We wanted to provide an executive summary. We wanted to provide some framework to people so that if people were not interested in reading the rest of the 100 pages, they knew what this was all about. Purpose, objective, and background. Business case is justification of the business need. So it clearly specifies the business need on top. One of the core PMP exam question, one of the core segments of a business case is clear identification of business need. And business need, it clearly shows what the business need is. Business cases would they will clearly show business need, plus they will show business need, and then they will show very, very high level scope, very high level scope, extremely high level scope. They will show the story of high level requirement, very high level, very, very high level requirement, maybe one requirement. They'll show some milestones or timeline or milestones. They will show some critical stakeholder. Instead of resources, they will show some critical, high level, high value stakeholders. Critical, high level value stakeholders or resources, you could say. A business case would show, look at the story of project management at a very, very, very high level. One line statement, one line statement, one line statement. It may also show some timeline, resources, cost, and what benefits will come out from there. Cost and benefits, right? Cost, benefits, maybe return on investment or break-even period. It'll show very clearly. There is, so quality too early, no need in the business case. We don't know the requirements. If you don't know the requirements, how can you define the quality here? No mention of quality. Communication, no mention of communication. You don't know all your stakeholders, so how will you develop the communication strategy? Depending on the nature of project, sometimes you have a very high level communication strategy, but at this stage, way too early for that. Business case may also show, of course, risks and assumptions. Assumptions are facts that are construed to be true but have not been verified yet. All of us know what assumptions are. Assumptions are facts that are perceived to be true, facts that are seen to be true, but they have not been validated yet. So assumptions are listed here. Some constraints could be listed too, some high-level constraints. And now look, it's a whole story of project management. You remove a few things from here. And these are very high-level risks, extremely high-level risks. And it contains contains how it may also show right here the vision statement on top, after background, the vision statement and the business need. And it also contains alignment with organizational strategy. So it contains strategic alignment. How is this need aligned with the strategy? Do we really need to spend something here? And business case contains a very important component, and it is called alternatives. Alternatives of solving these problems. Alternatives to solve the problem. This is the best way. It's the second best way of solving the problem. This is the third best way. And you also show the do nothing analysis. Let's say the problem is there is a problem. Organization is facing a problem and they are writing a business case. They wrote, well, we need to replace the old system. Best way. Second best way, we can enhance the current system. Third best way, we can use some vendor system. Leader said, well, guys, it's okay, all right, replace the old system completely, upgrade the current system, use the vendor system. But what about do nothing? If I don't spend on this initiative, if I don't invest on this initiative, will I still stay competitive? They said yes. So why am I investing here then? Cut this business case right away. I'm not approving it because there is no point in it. I would rather like to invest my money somewhere else. So business case contains list of alternatives ranked in the order from the best to the least, right? But it contains a very important component as part of alternatives, which is the do nothing approach. And business case contains critical success factors, sometimes called performance measures. So performance measures. So what is the organization saying? Organization or KPIs, you can say. KPI. Organization is saying, all right, I'm going to approve the business case, but when the project is closed, I'm going to come and measure this project based on these KPIs. You said 2% increase of revenue. You said 3% increase in my clients. You said my employee retention and satisfaction will increase. You said this, I'm going to measure this when you complete the project. This is what I'll use to measure it. So key performance, the selling factor of a project are these KPIs. Why organizations said we should move in this direction? Because you were presented the KPIs that were extremely lucrative and you said, well, I'll be able to capture 25% market share. I want to go in this direction. This is really, there is no resource required because we're using the resources from other projects. This is very compelling. So business case is justification of business need, but it is a compelling document. If you do not present a compelling story as part of your business case, trust me, it is not a business case. It's than any other document. Business case is a document that presents the compelling story. It compels the organization to make an investment in this direction. It presents a compelling story. For example, China was presented with a compelling story that NVIDIA and US is becoming a leader in AI. What did they do? What did they do to cause disruption yesterday? They released their own AI model called DeepSeek. And what did DeepSeek do? It wiped off 640 billion from NVIDIA's net worth. Can you imagine? 640 billion. Oil is not the most precious commodity, but the most precious oil company was not worth $640 billion at some point of time. It got wiped out yesterday from the market. The net worth, just from NVIDIA, $640 billion was wiped off. Total US S&P index Almost $2 trillion or $3 trillion were wiped off yesterday. Why? Because they said, we built this for $5.6 million. What are you even talking? Who knows? Maybe they spent $20 billion. No one knows. Because it's very difficult to build an AI model for $5.6 million. That's how you cause disruption in the market. Someone presented a compelling story to China maybe 5 years ago, and they said, you will not be able to sustain yourself because some of the companies in the West are moving very fast. They said, okay, here we go. Let's build our own. Let's become the disruptor, right? Everyone saw yesterday what happened in the market, right? We all saw what happened in the market. So right here. So this is what a business case contains. All the information. But this is good information, but there is a very good mnemonic to know. A business case contains natural gas. At least at a bare minimum, a good business case must contain natural gas company. Natural gas company. N-gas-C, natural gas company. What does that mean? Need, along with vision, gap assessment, current to future state, alternatives along with the do-nothing approach, a high-level solution scope, and finally a case that presents cost, benefits, risks, and KPIs. Same idea, but right? Same idea. A business case contains, that's why when I go to an organization and we are working for someone, I'm never nervous. They say, we don't have a template. I say, don't worry about it, right? So when we went to Citi, they were extremely immature in project management practice. So we don't have any template to work with that. Don't worry about it. This is our template. This is what directs us, right? If you know this, if you know the idea and philosophy of project management, that it is based on these ideas, you will say, I don't really care about the template. Who cares about the template? I got to get information around this. In a business case, this information can be extremely, extremely, extremely high level. And I'm not going to wait for it to become detailed here. This is not the place for detail. It's just a place where I want the project to be born. I want to make it as compelling as possible so that we can address our stakeholders' needs, right? So that's the idea, business case. Now you saw business case contains these ideas. What does project charter contain? I said project charter is an extension of business case. And project charter contains high level information. And the idea is authorization of the project, high level. Again, I will not be stuck with detailed information here. It contains high level information. And folks, what is that high level information? Purpose? Yes. Objective? Yes. Background? Yes. Vision? Yes. Business need? Yes. So what is the project manager do, or what is the sponsoring organization doing? They are literally lifting and shifting, a refined term for copy and pasting, right? A refined term. They're lifting and shifting, a refined term, but still it becomes extremely shameless for someone to say, well, I'm cutting and pasting and lifting and shifting. So the better choice of word is we are consistently messaging the purpose, objective, and background. I have seen some of the consultants on our project saying, I just cut and pasted it from here. I said, at least start using the term consistent messaging so that you can justify the $90 an hour that you're charging us. Please, can you do that? There is no harm in shamelessly cutting and pasting. There is no harm in doing that. But we can use a better term, refined term, to just glorify what we do. If not, if there is no other way to glorify things, at least use terms that glorify us. So, same idea, scope. It contains scope, inclusions, and exclusions, but a very high level. Exclusions, high level scope. So everything is, folks, everything is, let me clean it up nicely for us. High level scope, inclusions, and exclusions. Timeline, high level schedule or timeline. Just sometimes you just show start date and end date. That's it. And you may show some milestones. You know, at a charter level, it's just start date, end date, and some milestones. Project charter contains high level list of stakeholders. Contains high level list of stakeholders along with PMP exam question, name of the sponsor plus the name of the PM. The PM may not exist here. So the PM may not exist here, but the name is listed here. They may not exist right now. They may not be allocated right now, but their name, they've been identified to some extent. They've been identified to some extent. So high level list of stakeholder, most importantly, PMP exam question, where is the name of sponsor? Project charter. Where do you find the name of the PM and their authority? Name of PM. Can you please write down somewhere name of PM and the PM's authority listed in the project charter. Project charter contains very, very, very important 100% on PMP exam. Contains budget, and this budget is ROM. It's called ROM. What does ROM means? ROM means rough order of magnitude. What does that mean? Rough order of magnitude. What does that mean? It means the budget at this time could be in the range of, let's say, $1 million minus 25% to plus 75%. Or in other words, organization thinks this project will be executed anywhere between $750K to $1.75 million. They're ready for that. You know why they're ready for it? Why they accepted this range? Is because we do not know all the requirements yet. We only know high-level requirements. We know very high-level requirements, so high-level scope and high-level requirements. High-level requirements, high-level scope and high-level requirements. So look, the whole idea is those foundation of project management, foundational area of project management at a very, very high level. Now, what else does the project charter contain? It does not contain quality right now. And it also does not contain communication related aspects right now. Too early because we do not know all the stakeholders right now. Too early for that. Project charter would also contain, now it will contain things such as high level risks. PMP exam question, where are high level risks listed in in what documents are high level risks listed? Anytime you read the term high level, close your eyes, select project charter. Anytime you think about justification of business need, close your eyes, choose business case. Anytime you hear the term authorization, close your eyes, don't worry about it, choose project charter. I'm going to detail that for you very quickly. High level risks. And apart from that, project charter contains success criteria. On top, it may also contain, we already said purpose, objective, background, vision, and need. It may contain a list of approvers who will approve the document and maybe also reviewers. So what you're seeing, folks, here is that all these documents, business case or project charter, contain those 10 areas, but the level of information is slightly getting refined. It's getting refined a little bit, right? It is getting refined. The moment you see terms such as high level, your answer, this is project charter. The moment you think things such as very high level, vague information, business case. The term high level means no confusion about this being project charter. There are questions on PMP exam. I'm just going to highlight it for you right here. Around budget on PMP exam, rough order of magnitude. Now look, I said minus 25% to plus 25% in project charter. That is PMI's range. This suits well for an IT project, but for construction project, this could be plus minus 200%. Every organization, every industry, every and different environment, they mandate different kind of risk, a different kind of range. You know what defines this range? What defines this range is VUCA. How volatile your environment is, how uncertain your environment is, how complex your environment is, and how much ambiguity is there in your environment. Greater the volatility, greater the uncertainty, greater the complexity, greater the ambiguity, wider the range, and wider the range. Less volatile environment, less uncertainty, less complexity, less ambiguity, range shrinks, gets compressed. Right? You know what is the goal of planning, folks? Goal of planning is to make it less volatile. Goal of planning is to make it less uncertain. Goal of planning is to make it less complex. Goal of planning is to make less ambiguous. Right? But what do you make less volatile? What do you make less uncertain? What do you make less complex? What do you make less ambiguous in planning? In planning, what is it that you make less? Right? The same thing. The idea is those 10 areas. So purpose, objective, background, vision, need, part of the plan on top, and now it is detailed scope, detailed requirements. Look at this. You are reducing the volatility. You are reducing the uncertainty. You are reducing the complexity. You are reducing the ambiguity, and that is the name of planning. Detailed requirements. Those 10 areas, extremely detailed. Now look, detailed scope, detailed requirements, detailed schedule, detailed cost, detailed resources. Resources should be on top of the cost, sorry. Detailed resources, both internal and external. This should be here. Detailed resources. Detailed quality related information. Detailed communication. Detailed list of stakeholders, detailed list of risks. And when you have detailed information, now look folks, when you have detailed information around all these foundational areas, it is called a project management plan. And what happens when you have detailed information? Your estimates around cost and schedule become more definitive. They are not, so they become more definitive. They're not rough anymore. So what is planning? Planning is about getting definitive order of magnitude, which could be -5 to +10%. How did it go from rough order to definitive order? Because you had detailed information around these foundational area. What happened when you had detailed information? Confidence on the project went up very high, because your estimate has attained certain level of accuracy or definitiveness. And if you wanted to build a house, and I told you, now hear this well, if you wanted to build a house and I said, well, your house is going to cost you $2 million plus minus 100%. Let's start digging the foundation. What would you tell me? Go do it? $2 million plus minus 100%. Are you going to say, I said, here you go, your house is going to cost you $2 million plus minus 100%. So 2 million plus 2 million. Are you going to start? Would you tell me to go dig the foundation? No, you would not. You know what you'll tell me? You will say, well, Hemant, how about we do some planning? Get some definitive information. Can you please shrink this level of estimation a little bit more so that I have more confidence in this? Then I'm going to sign off your plan and we can go into executing. So planning is about not just about this definitive estimation. It's about attaining certain level of accuracy. It's about giving the sponsor certain level of confidence so that they put the ink on the project management plan and the project goes into executing. So folks, what you see here is the next week topic, which is on Saturday when we are starting, which is plan the project. You know what that is? All the 8 topics are about the foundational areas. Topic A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is all about this here. So what you see is business case is foundational area, project charter is foundational area, and project management plan is also the foundational areas. But the level of detail continues to progress. As we continue to progressively elaborate, the level of details are refined, and definitiveness towards pursuit, towards execution is increasing day by day. That is the idea, right here, presented to all of us. So I'll take some questions. I know it's getting a little late, but let's take some questions. But before we take some questions, here you go. Let me give you a chart, a very interesting chart that you will have ease understanding things. Business case. Who develops it? Business owners. Why do they develop it? To justify the business need. Feasibility study is sometimes embedded in business case. If you have to define feasibility study is the study of, let's write it down here, a very interesting definition. Feasibility study is the study of the constraint profile of an organization. Feasibility study is the study of the constraint profile of an organization, right? Look at this definition. Feasibility study is the study of the constraint profile of an organization. And what is the constraint profile of the organization? Scope, requirements, schedule, resources, internal, external, cost, risks, communication, stakeholders, and quality. These are the constraints of an organization, and study of that constraint profile is feasibility study. Can we do it? within what is available to us, right? So feasibility study. So from PMP exam standpoint, who creates it? The business owners. Why is it created? To justify the business need. Feasibility study, what is it? The definition I've given you. It is embedded sometimes in the business case. And PMs can recommend changes but cannot change it. Cannot change it. They don't have the authority. PMs do not have the authority. PM or the team does not have the authority to make any changes to business case. They can recommend changes. When approved, project is initiated or started. If you know these ideas, you will answer all the PMP exam questions on business case. Just this chart here, right? I could have given this chart in the beginning itself, but I wanted you to see what does these documents contain and what are these foundational areas. This is the foundation. You know, planning, all the topics are these foundational areas. Those 8 topics, they revolve around these foundational areas. That's what it is. Planning is elaborate these ideas, right? Now, what is a project charter similarly? Project charter. Project charter is a project document. It is created during starting. Who creates it? Who creates it? The sponsoring organization. Why do they create it? To authorize the project. So that the project can go into planning. Can project charter be updated? Keep this in mind. Organizations may update it, but can you update it? No. And authority of the PM is listed here. Sponsor name is also listed here. Keep these ideas close to you. If you know this picture, if you know this business case picture, and if you know this idea right here, folks, business case, project charter, project plan, and everything is based on these foundational areas, you know what will happen on the PMP exam? You will be relaxed. You will just, from here on, you will just be relaxed. Be like, I know it, I got it, I got this. This is the dance in project management. You balance. So all these 9 areas plus integration, right? All these 9 areas plus integration of these 9 areas, or in other words, whole is better than sum of its parts. That's it for today. Just wanted to communicate this. I know it's long, but you know what? It's all good information for all of us. This is good information. Alrighty. So, folks, what do you think? Does this make sense?
Yes.
Did this make sense? Did you see topic C? What is hidden inside topic C? Right? You guys saw what is hidden, embedded in topic C? This is how much is embedded in topic C. Look at this. And I can totally and completely say that I'm proud of my handwriting, in spite of the fact this evening I used to write really, really bad, and I think I have improved my handwriting. Did you were able to understand my handwriting here? What do you guys think? Was it easy?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were not in my sessions 3 years ago. You would have said, oh man, what is this going on the screen? But look, I've improved, right? Constant improvement. You know, before you ask me questions, I want you to ask me questions, because there should be questions after so much information. Because I run businesses and everything. I'm very excited about what I do. And the excitement is what brings me here. Sometimes it just gets too much on a Monday, morning to evening, meetings, right? Running a company with over 100 consultants, education company and corporate trainings that are going on. Working with Tesla is just a work in itself. I don't know how I manage it, but I'm doing it. Google, Tesla, Amazon, City of Hamilton. This is a place where I am almost every day I'm responding to emails. Where is the time? I don't know, but still I find time. I try to find time. Sometimes I had to cancel it last minute because it's just not possible humanly to do this, but I want to do this because there's so much information I have from my experience. I want to share it with folks, right? It is only when we share is when our knowledge increases. So, you know, all my life, this is what I have managed, I think, really, really well. Otherwise, a high schooler like me doesn't do what I do. I'm just grateful for the opportunities I've been given. You know, neglect in life, neglect on small things starts like an infection. And if you, and with time, if you let it persist, it becomes a disease. And you know what? This constant neglect of work, neglect of health, neglect of so many other things, it does to us. It reduces our self-worth. It reduces our value. And most importantly, constant neglect of work, not learning, not doing what we need to do, it leads to reduction of self-esteem. Neglect starts as an infection, but it becomes a disease. Trust me, right? Every day you can neglect one thing. Tomorrow you say it's okay, I can work around. Day after, and suddenly there is no skill. It's just neglect. It's a disease. Your self-worth has reduced, your value has reduced, and most importantly, your esteem in society has reduced, right? Extremely important to not neglect things that we have in life.